All right, and we're live. Hey, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. Hey, today we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving and Black Friday. What do they do in Costa Rica? So, hey, welcome everybody that is here. I'm having a blast today, and man, I think summer is here, and so glad too. Now, unfortunately, where I'm at, boy, the wind is starting to kick up today. But anyway, we're going to have a great time. Costa Rica is an awesome place to live once you can see CYE. In other words, control your environment. But you do have to be careful because, like any place, Costa Rica has some stuff that will drive you nuts. And this is the only channel that's giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly about Costa Rica. Not trying to sell you Costa Rica. You can buy more of my product and services. By the way, did you hear about my Black Friday special? Hey, you moved to Costa Rica, you get 2 for 1. No, actually, I ain't selling nothing. Everything I do on this channel is for free, and it's here to help you learn more about life in Costa Rica, real life in Costa Rica. So, hey, if you hadn't already, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the podcast so more people can enjoy it. Hey, I think I made a mistake in scheduling all this, and it looked like it was supposed to start sometime earlier today, but hey, that's technical stuff. No big deal. So, hey, let me know. Give me a shout out in the comments there and let me know. Are you in Costa Rica? Are you going to celebrate Thanksgiving in Costa Rica? Hey, give me the scoop. What's going on with you? And, hey, if you got questions, we're going to get on to it. But hey, let's dive in and talk about Thanksgiving in Costa Rica. Now, obviously, if you watched the video earlier, Costa Rica really does not celebrate Thanksgiving. That is a United States holiday, okay? Which means, you would automatically assume there's no such thing as Black Friday, and there's not. But, big box retailers, like Walmart, well, and Walmart owns quite a few stores in Costa Rica, from the Más o Menos, Maxi Palais, the Palais. Walmart owns quite a bit. So Walmart, being from the United States, well, of course, they're used to doing the Black Friday thing. So they do the Black Friday thing here as well. But since it's not really Black Friday, they just call it Black November. And so now you're just seeing that all over the place. And, you do see where it looks like, and I say looks like, prices are marked down. Are they really marked down? I really don't know. But what I do know is that, you see specials all over the place. But you know what? In this video, let's just talk about some of the cultural differences of, life in Costa Rica for Thanksgiving, Black Friday versus what you normally see in the United States. In the United States, for many years, people just went absolutely nuts come around Black Friday. I mean, I've seen people camp out in front of the stores, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They're there the night before with tents, waiting to get in line so that they can buy or get a hold of one of the phenomenal deals. That kind of stuff will never happen in Costa Rica. And there are several reasons for that, okay? Costa Rica, of course, is laid back. And you have to understand that in the United States, well, we've got tons of disposable income. So we're always buying stuff. Where in Costa Rica, well, the majority of Costa Ricans are living on under $1,000 a month. So they're not just blowing money, going look for the greatest deals on TVs and everything else. It's just very, very different. So, one of the key things that's different about Costa Rica is that since, they don't have a lot of disposable income, this time of the year, when you're going into some of the stores like Walmart and some of the hardware stores, you're going to see things that you typically don't see throughout the year. In other words, you can find, different freezers, large freezers. You'll find a lot of things that the store normally don't carry during the middle of the year, because at the end of the year, everybody gets that 13th month check. And that 13th month check is an extra month's salary. So they usually end up taking that extra check and buying things they need. Like if they need a new stove or a new oven, if they need something, well, usually they're going to the big box stores and that's what they're buying. In the United States, well, we go kind of nuts, go way overboard buying everything in the world, buying Christmas gifts. And, we don't, and it's not a bad thing. I guess you could go too far, right? But in the United States, man, we got Christmas lights all over the tree, all over the place, Christmas trees, we can really go overboard with all of the decorations. And it's kind of nice in the United States where I know my family, we used to always, after Thanksgiving, we'd drive around and we'd go to this town and that town and we'd see the Christmas lights. And I used to live in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and it was called the City of Lights. I mean, millions of lights. And you could go down there on Cane River and it was amazing, the lights. And people from all over the United States would go there to see lights. Well, I've been in Costa Rica since November 2013, and I've yet to see anywhere that has that kind of thing going on where there's tons of Christmas lights. Just not. Matter of fact, I would say that in Costa Rica, well, New Year's is more popular than Christmas, and it's that way in a lot of countries. So Thanksgiving has never been a thing. But what if now, obviously, there's expats that come here, gather together, and they celebrate Thanksgiving with their family. And hey, I look forward to in the hopefully near future to be celebrating Thanksgiving with my new family and teaching them what Thanksgiving is all about. And I love cooking. My wife loves cooking. And so, hey, it's awesome to be able to maybe cook a big old turkey and all of that. But, I think a lot of people come to Costa Rica, they don't want to do all that cooking, especially, they've downsized. But where can you go find a good Thanksgiving meal? So, hey, if you're in the San Isidro del General area, then there's Bazookas. Bazookas they've been doing Thanksgiving for many, many years. Matter of fact, my wife and I, we're going there Thursday so that we can have, it will be her very first traditional Thanksgiving meal. She's never even had turkey before, so it'll be a first time for her to try turkey. And so we're looking forward to going and doing that. So if you're looking forward to having a traditional Thanksgiving meal, it's a bit of a challenge. I remember one year we looked all over the place, and that was before we moved into San Isidro. Looked everywhere, and we happened to be going to San Jose. Had a couple of friends with us, and we were looking for a Thanksgiving meal. And it took us a long time and a lot of phone calls, but we found a place in San Jose, that had a lot of expats, and we found us the Thanksgiving meal. So that's the key point. The key point is if you're looking for a traditional Thanksgiving meal, you're going to have to go somewhere where there's a lot of tourists, go somewhere where, they have expats living in the area. And if they got a lot of expats, well, then you're going to find some restaurant that's going to cater to the expats, and they'll be serving, a Thanksgiving meal. And so I wish there were more, but Thanksgiving is just not a thing in Costa Rica. But it doesn't mean you can't enjoy Thanksgiving. Now, used to, it was really difficult to find an actual butterball or to find a turkey in the stores, but you can. Now, keep in mind, you're going to pay top dollar for it. And just last week, I think I was looking at some of the stores like Walmart, and you know what? You can get a good butterball turkey, but it's going to cost you probably close to $50 to get a turkey. Okay. And then, you got to go to some of the stores to get a can of cranberry. If you like cranberry sauce, you might end up spending $3, $4, $5 for a can of cranberry sauce that you could get for $1.50 in the United States. But you can have a great time enjoying Thanksgiving in Costa Rica. It is a little bit different, but you can have fun. So anyway, Thanksgiving in Costa Rica is very different. Black Friday is very different. And you're not going to see the same kind of deals like you get in the United States. Just doesn't happen in Costa Rica. But hey, let me know. Put a chat, drop a comment and let me know. Hey, where are you having Thanksgiving? I know we don't have a whole lot of people today. Why? Simply because I goofed and I didn't have the right time in there. But hey, I'd love to answer any of your questions, regardless of whether it's about Thanksgiving, whether it's Black Friday or you just got questions about bugs and wildlife and, cost of living, give me your questions, your comments, your input, and I'll be more than glad to answer your questions. Hey, Eduardo says he is having Thanksgiving in Southeast Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Hey, congratulations, Eduardo. I know he's here a whole lot. So enjoy Thanksgiving. Have a good cold drink on me. Now, for how many folks there? I'm kind of curious. There's a lot of input, and what is your biggest hang up? What's keeping you from, if you've been sitting here watching the channel, what's been keeping you from making the move to Costa Rica? Are you still gathering information? Are you trying to decide whether it's worth it? Well, now's a good time to ask those questions, because everything that I do on this channel, well, I do for free. If you want to, you can look in the link of any video. If you want to schedule a personal video consultation, you most definitely can do that. Now, I'm not trying to talk you into doing anything. I don't need you, and I don't, hey, while I love to have the extra money and really appreciate the support, okay, I stay extremely, extremely busy, and I have some really great news coming. I've been busier than normal, and I think most of you, if you're a regular on this channel, I normally have a live every Sunday, but unfortunately, my neighbor is very, very sick. Matter of fact, he's coming toward the end of life. He's an old guy. He's 80 years old. If he makes it to February 1st, which I really don't think he will, he'll be 81. But anyway, the guy is, he doesn't have any family anywhere around here. He does have one son that lives out of the country. But anyway, he doesn't have anyone here. And so I've been taking care of this guy and trying to help him to just enjoy or have a quality of life at the end of his life. So I haven't been able to do what I typically do or normally do. And it's been just crazy, crazy busy as I try to manage his property and just kind of take care of things while he's at this stage of life. So anyway, I've been super, super, super busy with that. And so hopefully we can get back into the routine of doing our lives on Sunday. And hopefully real soon we'll be into where I'll start posting videos on a regular basis like I used to years ago. Okay. But it does seem like it's been a long, long time because, hey, I got really busy when I was building. And anyway, life happens, and that's all right. So anyway, hey, give me some input. What are some of the stuff that you're looking forward to learning about? Because the reality is this is the only channel not trying to sell you Costa Rica. But what is it you want to learn about? What is it? What's the facts? What's the true things that, you're not sure you're getting the right answers, but you want the right answers. You want the facts about Costa Rica. Hey, I'd like to get your input. So make sure that you comment and leave your questions. I read every comment, and I answer every single comment. I'm probably the only YouTuber in the world that actually answers every comment. I'm sure there's others, but I don't see that very often. But anyway, whoops, let's see here, wrong one. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Hey, GR says, did you go to Panama to do your grocery shopping? If you did, how were the prices and which port of entry did you use? Hey, if you're gonna go to Panama, and yes, I do. I go to Panama and do my shopping pretty regular, about once every 3 or 4 months. And you can go to Panama and you could probably save about 40% on groceries, on fuel. You can save a lot of money. Now, there's a few things that there's really no difference in. But I normally, when I go to Panama to do my grocery shopping, there's really 2 points that you can go into. There's one place called Rio Sereno. If you're going to go stamp in and stamp out, go to Rio Sereno. That's the one that's super, super easy. And while you can do some shopping there, there's not a lot of grocery stores and that stuff. What you want to do is go to Paso Canoas. Do not go to Paso Canoas to stamp out there. Now, eventually, Paso Canoas has a huge, huge new immigration port they've been building. It's not quite done, but once everything is done, I think it's going to make stamping in and out of Costa Rica and Panama a lot easier at Paso Canoas. Because right now it's always been a pain in the butt. But anyway, go to Paso Canoas. And then once you get into Paso Canoas, you see the main gate, you turn left and you go down there, and a kilometer or two down, there's the big, huge city mall and a couple of other stores. And man, you can find just about anything you want. Now, be careful, because you can find all kind of people selling crap, brand new iPhones, and it's not really an iPhone. But anyway, you can really save a lot of money. Especially for me, I'll buy 3-4 months supply worth of groceries, come back and pile it up so that I can save money. And so you can find a lot of stuff in Paso Canoas. So, hey, let me know, folks, what's happening your way. Right now we're, most places in the United States are starting to cool down a little bit. And actually last week I was down in Miami. So I was at the Veterans Hospital. And so I was taking care of a few things down there. And boy, did I have an awakening down there, because I was actually walking down to the VA hospital. I was just looking for a good old cup of coffee. And, I used to have a grocery store. In the United States, you go into almost any convenience store, you can get a hot cup of coffee. I looked all over the place, couldn't hardly find any coffee. I'll tell you more about that story some other time. I'm thinking about next week talking about, more of the cultural differences. One of the most important things you can do when coming to Costa Rica is to learn about the cultural differences of Costa Rica. No matter where you go, if you go to another country, the most important thing you can do is learning about the culture. If you learn about the culture, then it'll make a huge difference. The majority of the people that come to Costa Rica and leave in a short time is simply because they don't understand the culture. They've got this bad expectation. Well, most content creators, YouTubers, give a lot of false information because they're constantly trying to sell Costa Rica. They have this ulterior motive to make money. And so they try to sell you Costa Rica, and they only tell you what they believe you want to hear in order to convince you to come. So a lot of people that have this, false information, they get down here, they find out the reality, they get pissed off, and they leave. So, it is very different. Now, matter of fact, hey, I love that Eduardo. He says, hey, in January with Spirit Air, he's coming to Costa Rica, Fort Lauderdale, and he's saying $65 to $75. Are you sure about that? From Fort Lauderdale to Costa Rica, $65 to $75. That's cheap. I'm gonna have to check that out, because I hear lately I've been flying with Avianca. Now, Avianca, I can normally get pretty cheap plane ticket, somewhere a little over $200, and that's from San Jose to Miami. However, they will nickel and dime you for everything, kind of like Spirit Air, but you got to be careful. So, like for this particular time, I just travel light with my backpack, but I needed to get an extra baggage, and today with technology, they want you to do everything on your own. They don't want you to call. They want you to. You need baggage, buy a seat, all that stuff. Long story short, I needed a carry-on bag for my trip coming back. I go online to buy it, and I accidentally bought it on the wrong flight, on the flight going. I was like, okay, anybody can make that mistake. I called up Avianca and said, hey, look, just paid $55 for my carry-on bag. It went on the wrong flight. I don't know how it happened, but obviously I clicked on something, a wrong button. And, can you just switch it from the flight going to the flight coming back? And you would think any business with good customer service would take care of you. What did Avianca say? Oh, sorry, we can't do that. You're going to have to buy again. I'm going to do a video just for Avianca, So, Avianca, you can fly cheap, but you better be careful, because their customer service, well, it's kind of like Costa Rica. Sucks. So you got to be careful. And Eduardo, he replies, here I am in Miami trying to find a cup of coffee. And he says, you're right. They only have espresso Cuban coffee. It'll keep you awake for a week. Hey, you're absolutely right. That's the only thing I can find. And it comes in this little bitty cup, costs you about, I don't know, $3, $4. And it's really good coffee. It's strong, strong, strong. But I couldn't get just a regular cup of coffee. Now, Eduardo clarifies on that plane ticket. He says, my wife and me, we got $487 round trip coming back from, and coming back to Florida was $143. So that's kind of confusing there. So anyway, you said that your round trip ticket for you and the wife was a little under $500. Because, you know, a lot of times a round trip ticket, like if I buy something over at United, even normally if United or American Airlines usually cost me around $500. Okay. And that's why I went with Avianca, because I could usually pretty much get you don't buy a round trip ticket with Avianca. You just buy your ticket going and your ticket coming back. And I guess you call it round trip if you want to, but I just buy 2 tickets and I can generally get it pretty cheap. So anyway, hey, here we are in November, and you know, in Costa Rica, what is really great is the climate is so much better. I was talking to someone earlier today, you know, and there's lots and lots and lots of people who are. It seems like more and more people are coming to Costa Rica, and why is that? Well, number one, I think the economy is getting better in the United States, but I'll tell you what I found out earlier today. I'm going to take a look right here at my phone. Because here's what's happening. In the news recently, Costa Rica makes the top trending 2026 travel destination list. So international travel platforms say that Costa Rica is one of the hottest destinations heading into 2026. Obviously, it says it's huge for tourism, real estate, and digital nomads. Now, there are some truths to that. If you know where to look, you can definitely get some good deals on real estate. Is it great for digital nomads? Well, yes and no. But you know what? It's amazing to me because Costa Rica has done a great job marketing Costa Rica. And so a lot of people, and that's the reason more people that come to Costa Rica leave than stay. And that's because they've marketed so much. And then when people get down here, it's not like it is. However, you know, and I'm not banging on Costa Rica. The reality is I love Costa Rica. And there are a lot of things I don't like about Costa Rica, but there's more pros than there are cons. You know, for me, I love the consistent climate. It's never too hot, never too cold. And as you can see now, I'm sitting up here at about 4,500 feet. And, you know, I got a hoodie on. It's cool. Now the wind's blowing and it feels even cooler, right? But you know, I get to just enjoy the weather. Never too hot, never too cold, and it's nice. Now, you can get down by the beach and it can get really hot, but no matter where you live at, the temperature, it never really varies 10 to 15 degrees. Now, a gingerbread shares Ottawa to Guanacaste route, the first direct connection between Costa Rica and the Canadian capital. Service since December 17th, 2025, twice weekly on Wednesdays and Saturdays is great news for Canadians. Hey, I'm so glad you shared that. So hopefully for all of the Canadians watching this, hey, so what airline is that? Canadian Cap. Doesn't say what airline. Okay, but hey, that's good news. And you know, it's pretty amazing because several weeks ago we talked about how things are changing in this area, how used to, I've lived here for over 4 years, been coming to this place for 12 years, and almost never see planes, hear planes. However, been seeing a lot of planes. And obviously, they've opened up a couple of routes. Things have changed. And I actually, you know, through some of my great subscribers said, hey, you can download an app. And when a plane is going by, you can see where it's going. And I did just that. And there are a lot of planes, I think, that are going to San Pablo, South Colombia, in South America. But anyway, there's I mean, almost every day I now hear planes going back and forth. Now, I do see chemical trails every once in a blue moon, but I'm glad I don't see it like I do in United States. United States, you see chemtrails all the time, okay? But over here, I hadn't seen them nearly as much, which I'm really glad. I hope that doesn't ever happen. So drop your questions in there and let me know what is it you want to know about Costa Rica. You know, I need you to be interactive. Give me some information, or maybe I'll pull up Chat GTP and I'll share with you some of the information, the research that I was doing earlier. About Black Friday and all that good stuff. Because I found it quite interesting that hey, Black Friday started way back in the 1950s by the Philadelphia police, and the whole thing was because there was tons of shoppers and crowds of out-of-towners, and they were going for the Army Navy football game, and traditionally that's where they just started doing all the Christmas shopping. Now, when it comes to Black Friday, I think maybe years ago when it started, you could get some good deals, but I think more and more, because I'm a marketer and I've learned so much. They might actually have a deal on TVs, but then there's only like 5 TVs or 10 TVs, and when they're out, they're out. But then you're in there and you're buying other stuff. Hey, AB Ginger shared and said, that it's Porter Airlines is the service. Guanacaste Airport now holds the top spot in Costa Rica for direct links to Canada. Hey, AB Gingerbread, I'm so glad that you gave me that update. So in short, where did this Black Friday thing came from? So in the 1950s, the Philadelphia police invented the name because the day was a headache. They hated working on the day after Thanksgiving, which they called Black Friday, because of all of the shoplifting, the crowds, the jams, and all that good stuff. Then in the 1960s, it became such a phenomenon or a popular thing that, even the locals started saying Black Friday, Black Friday, Black Friday, because it was so bad. But in the 1980s, who thought of this? The retailers decided to rebrand it, try to change it into a good thing. And obviously it caught on fire and everybody loved it. And so it became a massive sales holiday. And Costa Rica is trying to do the same thing, turn it into a massive sales holiday. So it is quite interesting, because for me, I'm like, it makes absolutely no sense. But it's just like, if you know anything about Costa Rica, in the United States, we are a tipping culture. So we tip for every single thing, And Costa Rica, they wanted to do the same thing, but it's not a tipping culture. You ask any Tico if they tip, they're like, no, I don't tip. Ain't no Tico's gonna tip. Okay, just doesn't happen. However, in Costa Rica, they will put a mandatory 10% tip on nearly every single restaurant you go to. Now, some restaurants, they can opt out of it, because they're like, hey, we don't force you to tip, And obviously tips are right. You give me good service, I might tip you a 20 instead of a 10. If I have terrible service, I ain't tipping you anything. But in Costa Rica, it's mandatory tip, okay, which is just not fair. And so in Costa Rica figured, well, it's the United States tips, and of course, it's different in Costa Rica. And people say, well, you ought to tip, you tightwad. Well, in the United States, yeah, you really should tip, because waitresses and waiters, they get paid so much cheaper. They're not getting minimum wage because of the tips. In Costa Rica, they are getting the minimum wage, and they're not getting some tiny paycheck because they don't have to work for a tip. They don't have to, and they don't work for a tip. So you don't have customer service in Costa Rica. But that's just part of, when you learn about Costa Rica, you know about it, you won't be disappointed. Now, Eduardo says that, he takes a bus outside the airport in Costa Rica to downtown San Jose, and then he takes another bus for less food, 12,000 colones. So talking about bus trips, okay, this particular time I went to fly out, I actually took the bus, and I took the Mozart bus. Okay, so the Muzak bus from San Isidro del General, from Paris Zeledon to San Jose, 4,000 colones. That's $8. That's cheap. If I take my vehicle and I go from San Jose to, if I go from same thing, same trip, it would cost me almost $100 in gas. So if you don't mind riding the bus, well, hey, I rode the bus there, rode the bus back, 4,000 colones. That's cheap. And the seats, they're pretty dang comfortable. Nothing wrong with that. And hey, once I get to the Muzak bus station, well, I normally try to find me a B&B that's nearby. Maybe I find a hostel, something like that. And I get an Uber to my destination. And depending on the time of the day, you can really get an Uber very, very, very cheap. Very cheap. So anyway, just some food for thought right there. I would never, never, never take a taxi anywhere in Costa Rica because they'll just rip you off. Matter of fact, I came back to Costa Rica on Thursday, and the plane landed at 3:00. And obviously there must have been a lot of planes. I get inside the Costa Rica airport, and gosh, never have I ever seen so many people trying to get through immigrations. It took 2 hours to get through immigrations. And, but hey, I guess it's good for Costa Rica. That means more and more travelers are coming to visit Costa Rica, but it took 2 hours. Well, my point in this story is that, as you're going through immigrations, you see all these monitors up there. And these monitors are giving you tips like, hey, don't try to bring in plants and seeds and stuff. You could wipe out whole banana plantations. Hey, if you park your vehicle at the beach, be sure to lock it all up because, you might park in a safe place. And then I saw it said, hey, avoid scams in Costa Rica and always and only take authorized orange or red taxi. In other words, they're pushing take the taxis and don't take the Ubers or the DDs. Well, technically, Ubers and DDs are illegal, but hundreds upon thousands of people take the Ubers and DDs. Well, why is that? That's because the taxis are the ones that are scamming you and not anybody else. Now, obviously, there are pirate taxis that could scam you, but they're not usually the ones scamming you. They're trying to make a decent living. The ones that are scamming you are the red taxis. So if you happen to ever go to the airport and you see signs anywhere, or you hear people, Uber, it's not legal. You can't take an Uber. Well, there's a lot of things that's not legal in Costa Rica. Costa Rica passes a lot of laws, but the problem is they don't have enough police to enforce the laws, okay? And you know what? People take Ubers and DDs all the time. So take an Uber and DD and you'll save a ton of money. Take a taxi, and all I can say is I told you so, because it will happen. You will get cheated. It's happened to me I don't know how many times, and recently Rebecca got conned. When you ride in a taxi, if she had a lot of stuff, don't put your stuff in the trunk, because guess what? They can hold it hostage. So this guy, charged her $50, even though, the monitor, the thing said it was like, I don't know, I can't remember. She said it was like 16,000 colones or something. And she had to pay a ridiculous amount of money to get her suitcase out of the trunk. So you do want to be careful. So my point there is that, hey, does Costa Rica market itself very well? Yes. And will they tell you a lie like don't use anything else or avoid scams? Well, use the red taxi. You're going to get scammed. It's just helping you to understand. Be aware. Use some good common sense so that you can protect yourself. All right. Well, hey, folks, not a whole lot of comments, not a whole lot of engagement, so I'm not going to go on and on. There's really not a whole lot to say about Thanksgiving and Black Friday that I hadn't already said. Hey, I did put out a video earlier today and a little fun short. But anyway, go check those out to give you some more detailed information about Black Friday and Thanksgiving. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been short and sweet. But look, your engagement, your comments helps and goes a long, long way so that I can answer your questions. Hey, I think if I take a look at the calendar, I think next week is the first. No, it's not. It is the 30th. Okay. And it's always the first weekend where we do Q&A. So, hey, next week, not sure what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be something good that's going to help you to understand more about life in Costa Rica. All right, folks, I'll see you next time on the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast, the only channel not trying to sell you Costa Rica.